Back to you.
Thank you, sir. Item number 5B. Approve and adopt a resolution recognizing and congratulating No Lost Food for its work to feed El Pasoans by rescuing good food that would otherwise be disposed and distributing to those in need.
Commissioner Stout.
Yes, Judge, thank you. I also have the honor of reading this resolution into the record, and I believe we have Preeta Rajkumar from No Lost Food on the line to speak with us. So I'll go ahead and read the resolution, and then we can hear from her. So whereas in the United States, food waste is estimated by the USDA's Economic Research Service at between 30 to 40% of the food supply, corresponding to approximately 133 billion pounds and $161 billion worth of food in 2010. Whereas this amount of waste has far-reaching impacts on society, with wholesome food that could have helped feed families in need sent to landfills and land, water, labor, energy, and other inputs diverted to processing, transporting, storing, and disposing of discarded food. And whereas food loss occurs for many reasons, with some types of loss, such as spoilage, occurring at every stage of the production and supply chain. Between the farm gate and retail stages, food loss can arise from problems during drying, milling, transporting, or processing that expose food to damage by insects, rodents, birds, molds, and bacteria, equipment malfunction, such as faulty cold storage, over-ordering, and culling of blemished produce, and consumer buying or cooking more than they need. And whereas in 2015, the USDA joined with the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency to set a goal to cut our nation's food waste by 50% by the year 2030. And whereas the USDA defines food loss as the edible amount of food post-harvest that is available for human consumption but is not consumed for any reason, and recommends reducing food loss and waste by not to create it in the first place. If excess food is unavoidable, the USDA recommends recycling it into other products such as animal feed, compost, and worm castings, bioenergy, bioplastics, and clothing, and especially donating it to hunger relief organizations. And whereas USDA and EPA have launched the U.S. Food Loss and Waste 2030 Champion Program for businesses and organizations that have made a public commitment to reduce food loss and waste in their own operations in the United States by 50% by the year 2030. And whereas in 1996, President Clinton signed into law the Bill Emerson Good Samaritan Food Donation Act, so that a food donor who acts in good faith when providing surplus food to a nonprofit organization will not be held legally responsible for the food donation, with the exception of food donated under gross negligence. And whereas in 2017, Preeta Rajkumar, a college student at the University of Texas at El Paso, started to look into ways to help hungry El Pasoans, while also becoming aware of the immense amount of food waste, and realized a way to resolve two problems at the same time. With support from friends and fellow students, on May 14th of 2018, No Lost Food was officially recognized as a nonprofit in the state of Texas, and started by collecting 4 plates of food from a faculty event at UTEP. And whereas No Lost Food has grown to match food providers ranging from individual donors, stores, bakeries, restaurants, and more in a safe, legal, and systemic way with volunteers and with hungry individuals and families, and regular food partners include Bella Cora, Brown Street Market, Southern Made, Toxic Peach, Anything Sweet, Savage Goods, and New Green Organics. And now, therefore, be it resolved by the El Paso County Judge and Commissioners Court that the County of El Paso congratulates and thanks No Lost Food and its partners and volunteers for their efforts, and that the county support community efforts to reduce food waste, especially through distributing discarded but quality food to those who need it. Signed this 12th day of July, 2021.
Second.
Commissioner Holguin.
Aye.
Commissioner Leon.
Aye.
Commissioner Stout.
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson.
Aye.
Judge Samaniego.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Also, I believe I see Preeta on the line. If you'd like to say a few words, we'd love to hear from you. Thank you.
Commissioner Stout,
Yes.
who's on the line? I didn't hear the name.
Preeta Rajkumar?
Oh.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. so
I'm
much. Welcome.
Priya Rajkumar presenting it today. She cannot be in the meeting. So my name is Priya Rajkumar. I'm from No Loss Food. I'm the manager. Thank you, Mr. Stout, and thank you, Judge Samaniego, for giving this opportunity for us to talk. And yes, as Mr. Stout mentioned, from 4 plates to where we are right now is a great improvement for our organization. We are a 501c3. We try to, get transparency among people, so they see where the food really goes to the shelter, where the donated food, surplus food goes to the shelter homes. And we try to reduce carbon footprint for about, some amount. For right now, for the 3 years, we have reduced the carbon footprint quite a bit. USDA and Bill Emerson Act has given a leeway for us for donating, their surplus food to our organization, and we can donate it to our sister city and El Paso, providing to low-income families and families that are, in very, very, such needs of food insecurity. We call them food insecurities. So we try to do that. We strive to do that. What can be donated? Anything edible surplus food can be donated to us, and it will reach, as I said, shelter homes and low-income families for the food insecure people. We try to reduce the food goes to the landfill, and our basic motto is save food, reduce hunger. And also we try to go green in ways of first human consumption, and then next would be animal consumption, and then it goes to the composting. We try as much as stay away from landfills, any food that doesn't go to landfills. So we have partnered New Organics as our composting partner. We have other composting partners as well. We have other new food partners joined recently, Witching Floors. We have about 27-30 partners right now for as food partners, and 5 or 6 for composting partners, 2 of them for animal feeds. So these are our partner sites to reduce the food waste in the El Paso community for now. We would also like to join the USDA Champion Challenge by 2030, like reducing the food waste by 50%. I would like to challenge El Paso if they can do it. We would like to join the challenge as well. And thank you for the resolution. Everyone, I would like to thank David Stout, Mr. David Stout for this, and then Judge Samaniego, Sito, for giving us this opportunity. If you have any questions, I would more than happy to answer. Thank you.
No, thank you for being and taking the time out. This is really, what a great multidimensional initiative, from kindness and humanitarianism to environmental. And I hadn't thought of the environmental impact that you just talked about. So great information and great insight. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you. Commissioner Stout.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Judge, and thank you, Ms. Priya, for being on the line and representing the organization that you and your daughter run. Tell your daughter thank you very much. We're sorry we couldn't have her today.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. David Stout. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes. And thank you for your work. It's another piece in that puzzle when it comes to trying to reduce in food insecurity and keep people healthy in our community. So thank you for what you do, and thank you for your support to my colleagues.
Thank you for your support as well, everyone. Thank you.
Yes, Commissioner Robinson, just a second. Commissioner Robinson, go ahead.
This is a great effort. I've been involved with food and feeding the homeless for at least 20 years. One of the challenges that we have is better now, and we still need to strive to continue to make improvement. But it has to do with the shelter, dealing with feeding the homeless, in conjunction with the health department, in addition with the facility, the restaurant or the food provider that provides the food. The food, if it's prepared food, the challenge we have is coming from the restaurant, for example, to the shelter, is keeping the food at the proper temperature once it's been cooked. So that's one of the challenges. And then the other is that the facility, the shelter that is, has adequate facility for cooking or storing food once it's been prepared. Recently, in conjunction with the sheriff department, I partnered with them. There was one shelter that did not have a working refrigerator, and they were housing women and children. And they didn't have a stove that was suitable because the stove was almost a disaster as far as starting a fire. So we were able to provide them a brand new refrigerator and a stove, so that one, they can cook the food at the proper temperature, and then once it's prepared, going into a refrigerator. So, but going back, what I'm trying to point out is that some of the restaurants were reluctant to give food to shelters because of the health department challenges as far as, one, how do they keep the food from the restaurant to the shelter, keeping it at the proper temperature, unless it's going to be served right away. So I guess what I want to say is whatever help we can provide for shelters of that nature, not only we see as commissioners, but as far as the community as a whole. Thank you.
No, thank you, Commissioner. Obviously, that infrastructure to be able to continue what they're doing is very important, and being able to storage properly and maintain right temperatures and all that, and cooking is a big part of it. So thank you for your comments. Would you like to address that, please?
Yes, I would like to address that as well. We work on appointments for all of our donors. We communicate with them, and once they say, we already talk to the shelter homes, how they're going to store the food, how everything is handled, and we have people who are managing food, and we check before it reaches the people. We have a quality control check among the drop-off locations. We check them. If it's if it's gone bad, yes, even myself would throw it to the trash. But if it is edible, good food, and they can handle it right away at the shelter home, or wherever it reaches, even an individual family or anywhere it is, we would quality check everything, each and every one, and then it reaches the people. We already have a video on our FB page, how we quality check our vegetables, a couple of videos on the Facebook page. We would like, as I said before, we would like the transparency to be involved in our organization all the time. So we have quality checks videos that are on social media. You can go take a look. Our social media is open to everyone. We have a page, we have a group, Instagram, anywhere. So once it's quality checked, everything, food or anything, then it will go to the human consumption. Otherwise, it will go to landfills. It will go to composting. Or animal feed. So landfills, we don't send anything to landfills until otherwise it is not edible to any of the thing. we usually send it to composting. So that's how we work. So if you want to take a look, you can always visit our Facebook page. We have some videos that, how we do our quality control check on food items.
Thank you for that. That helps a lot of good information, and it increases the confidence in being able to do that. So thank you for the additional comments that the public needs to hear, that there is a lot of controls that are being done to make this happen. So thank you for your additional comments.
Yes,
Commissioner?
thank you. Thank you for letting me address it. And if anyone has any other concerns or questions, liability is not an issue as of now because we have Bill Emerson Good Samaritan Act. So that is in place where everyone can donate to a shelter home directly or to a non-profit organization like us, like No Lost Food. You can always do that in place. So thank you.
Thank you. Very informative. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge, and thank you, Priya, once again. The work that you all do is based on volunteerism. They have a group of people that are volunteers, and they do this out of the goodness of their hearts. And so, I'd really like to support this organization in any way that we can. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stout. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Have a good day. Have a good day. Thank you.
You too. Thank you, sir.
Go ahead, Caesar.